the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech, the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. I thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye. What is going on? Don't Unfriend Me Nation. Good to have everybody here tonight. We are flipping the switch right now. We should be able to see Leroy and myself. Leroy, welcome. Good to see you on the Don't Unfriend Me show. Woo, you've got a partner that has shown up tonight with you. How extremely veiny that looks. But illustrious and shiny. Did you use turtle wax to embalm them and keep them fresh and dangly?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's just a yeah. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We have my name, Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. It's good to have you here. You can find us at The Dumb Show across all social media and podcasts, and you can go to thedumbshow.com. No B, just DUM for Don't Unfriend Me. It's an acronym, folks. It's very clever. And I want to introduce Leroy Jenkins, tell you quickly about himself. Uh-oh. Hold on. We lost it.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
What'd you do?
Well, sometimes this happens when we... Hold on. It's coming. That's what she said. Hold on. This is the problem when you're blind. Where'd it go? Uh-oh, Liv.
Did it go away?
Well, this is utterly ridiculous. I can't put, like, all the work we did, it's gone.
I hope it's not gone. Did it transfer to the other drive?
No. It's supposed to be right here.
That's weird.
It's all supposed to be right here. Are we doing Leroy first?
Yes.
I feel horrible. HIJKL. It's not here. Liv, come over here.
Check in another folder.
No, get over here. Help me out. I'm blind. I can't see. It's too small. That's what she said. Look right here. Get up. Well, put your head up there and take a look. I can't see it.
Here, watch this.
I've got Olivia, and I don't have Holy Cannoli. What the heck? Where did it go? Do you know? I don't know what happened. Hold on, folks. This is important because Olivia and I worked our asses off on this. Aha! Wait. Maybe. Hold on. Is it? No, that's not it. Is it? No, that ain't it. Where'd it go, Liv?
I don't know. I thought you saved it in that folder.
I thought I saved it. What was the name of the folder? Do you remember?
No.
What were you guys making?
Wait, just shut up for a second and be patient. It's something important, and we're trying to give it to you. But damn it, it's not here. This is ridiculous. What has been going on with my stuff lately?
I don't know.
I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated. This is bang my head against the wall. I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Hold on.
Folks,
I
Matt's
have
getting ready
to
to indulge us with his OnlyFans preview account.
This is really frustrating. Guys, I spent hours on this
Search for
yesterday. I don't know what to look for. What do I look for?
Leroy.
I don't think that's it. Here, let's look. Lee. Bueller. What was it called? It was called... Folks, just hold on. We're getting to this. What was it called?
I thought it was just Leroy Jenkins.
I don't think so. This is ridiculous because we've got yours.
What did you name the picture? I'm assuming it's going to be the same name.
Oh, I got an idea. I think I know where it's at because I got yours. Here, hit yours. Let's do Olivia. Olivia Spear, folks. Okay, but that's not good. That's not what right? This is all screwed up. This is horrible. This is just amateur night at improv. I mean, this is just
and it's going again.
It's just ridiculous now.
We worked on this so long yesterday.
How did we do it? How did we make that
I have no idea.
happen? You know what I'm going to do?
Huh.
I think I'm just going to create a scene for this. I mean, that's what we need to do. And this is really simple. I just go ahead and I come over here and I go intro scenes. Now, folks, you're going to just be patient. You know, we're going to bring you the show.
A good show.
But we're going to do this. We're just going to, we have to, because we spent too much time on this. It's almost to the point of no return. All right. So we make a new scene and son of a motherless. We're going to do this right now. I don't care. I thought I cared, but I don't care. Okay. There. New scene, new folder. We're going to rename it. We're going to put it up here and we're going to call this. What are we going to call this, Liv?
Olivia?
Oh, of course, let's make it all about you. Intros. Okay. So intros, and the first intro will be all of
Can't beat her for originality, folks.
Yeah, that's what I'm right. She's not the best color commentator in the business, folks. Okay, hold on. All right. So that's not right. Why is it muted now?
Is the sound not in it?
It's not.
God.
That's the one without the
Seriously, we spent so much time doing these and made sure they all
That's okay.
work.
Watch. Here it is. Here it is. There we go. There it is. Okay, great. Okay, shut up. We've had enough. Okay, what is this? What is this? Clog dancing? I mean, come on. All right, now the next one is going to be... Yeah, well, what's the next one? The next one's going to be Leroy. The Leroy Jenkins one.
Yes.
All right, so that's easy because I know right where that's at. This is working. All right, so iCloud Drive. Don't unfriend me. We're going to. Oh shit. Maybe I don't remember where this is at. But we're gonna listen. We're fully committed now.
I thought
was it under Leroy?
Yeah, I thought
It was under Leroy. There it is. There's Holy Cannoli.
Leroy.
Okay, there's Leroy. Here we go. So we're gonna download that. Download this one. We're not gonna do mine because I'm just sick and tired of this already. Now comes over here.
We can do Amy on Friday.
Oh, I love doing Amy on Friday. That's one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. Doing Amy on Friday. All right, here's Leroy. Hold on.
There's
Sort.
a few people that said the screen went dark.
We know.
Oh,
We're fixing things. You can hear us. You can stop playing games, people.
Somebody said that doesn't sound like Still Point.
Leroy. Yeah, the Still Point did a thing. Here we go. All right. Okay. So now that should kick back to this, and then you can see us. But we've got Amy, which we don't want. Amy. All right. So now that we're gonna have to fix this in post. Ladies and gentlemen, to my left is Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen. Leroy, tell everyone who you are.
All right,
Besides your
folks.
name.
I am Matt's right-hand man, so to speak, and former analyst, still currently an analyst, actually, former military. Been doing this a long time. 18 years. I've been looking at geopolitical issues, everything from energy to demographics. Yeah, that's who I am.
Outstanding. I don't care if Leroy's on your right. He's on my, well, I guess he's on my right too. But looking through my eyes through the video camera, he's on, okay, whatever. To my other right also is my beautiful wife, and here she is. Gosh, gosh, that
love
was
it.
so worth it. I'm sure everyone's so excited for that. Holy shit. I think we'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. Welcome, Olivia. Tell them who the hell you are. Push the button.
Oh, that button. Is it working?
Yes, it feels fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, get it out.
I
Got
am
the
Olivia,
magic
and I
panties
am.
on or what?
That's right. No, she pushed the button, bro. She pushed the button. I remember I am a transitioned female, so I have a button now. Go ahead.
I am the woman behind the man. I keep the show going.
In more ways than one. We call that pegging. So, folks, this is the Don't Unfriend Me show, and it can get a little vulgar sometimes, so bear with us. And I'm sorry it was such a rough start. The good news is we have about 25 more people on than we usually do. How are we doing on Rumble? Say hi to all our Rumble followers.
4.
Rumble will get better. They probably watch the opening like, what
We
the
have
hell's...
6 on YouTube.
Okay, YouTube sucks, that we know that. But Twitter, hello to our Twitter people, hello to our Rumble people. Good to see everybody. You can also listen to this from Facebook as well, and it's always good to see our Facebook people. Last night we had a really good show. We had Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson. It was a booming show. Was that last night?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I watched
Yeah,
it.
it was crazy.
Fantastic.
It was 500. It was great conversation, good dialogue. I didn't flip out on really anybody last night, I don't think. Nope, it went pretty smooth. So tonight we want more of the same. We're going to put up our phone number real quick. You can reach us 571-329-7576. You can text this number or you can call it. If you have a question, you can text. That's fine. Go ahead and do it. Don't be shy. And if you want to call in and you want to broadcast your voice, you can do that. You can also see us if you want to. Come on here and share this amazing experience with us by using this URL. It's simple. You have to turn off your Facebook or wherever you're watching from and just dial in by URL. You can use your phone. You can use your computer. I just put it in the chat. It's called Call My Show. And then you'll use your camera and your phone speaker and you can, have a conversation with us. So whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or something in between, we don't care. We want to have a conversation with you. I am much nicer person to person. Via text, I am grumpy and I'm not a good person. Okay. I don't collect balls, but I do collect spines. So let's rock and roll and let's have a conversation. So I don't know if a lot of people remember this. That what is the number again? If only it was in a place
On the screen.
that was
where
on the
you could
screen
see
and
it.
prominent. Angel might have some problems with her eyes. It's 571-329-7576. Angel did say she might call in tonight. She wants to talk about Nord Stream 2. She's watching a guy who's ex-military, who essentially has access to IFF transponders in civilian aircraft. And of course, you'll see the occasional KC-10 or KC-135 because those are not necessarily running sorties that are confidential. And you might see one over Alaska refueling whatever they're going to refuel. Or you might see maybe a P-8. You might see other aircraft, fighter aircraft being refueled, but you won't see the fighter aircraft necessarily. So his argument is that you can see full military movements and aircraft in real time. And he saw a P-8 fly from the East Coast to Iceland/Greenland, get a refuel from a KC-10, then somewhere over the mid-Atlantic, get a refuel again, and then ultimately went into the Black Sea, dropped a sonar buoy that... Good night. Dropped a sonar buoy that... or a Hawk torpedo that went in and hit the Nord Stream 2 pipeline vertically. So,
That
excuse me.
seems sketchy.
That's first of all, why are you flying P-8s from the coast when you could just fly them from Germany or any carrier fleet or any carrier group or any of the bases in between there and here that you can get a P-8 to? Why would you refuel it with a KC-10 squawking to actually show the refueling process? Because if you're some civilian who can see this, then Russia and every other country can see it too, and you're leaving a digital footprint because those logs are categorized. Why would you do it when satellite systems can see these type of things, why would you leave a footprint of any kind? I'm just, and why would you, it's like, Ryan, why would you want to go ahead and launch a nuclear warhead horizontally? Could you?
Well, you wouldn't.
But you wouldn't, right? So why would you want to launch a torpedo from the undercarriage of another boomer or an Akula class or any Russian sub or any foreign sub and want to, from a prostrate position underneath and launch it vertically? Why?
Did you say prostate?
I said prostrate.
Oh,
Prostate is something that's up your ass, and a prostrate is underneath you.
That's my
So
walnut.
I like to play with your prostate while you and I are prostrate of each other. You understand?
I get it.
Right. So that'd be me reaching up. Like I would be using my vertical torpedo. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Okay.
Right up the
So
old
why would
tailpipe.
So what are your thoughts? Now, there was somebody last night who's like, I can't believe you guys. You're disgusting. Anybody who talks about homosexuality has to be gay. Well, duh. Yeah, of course. What type of show did you think you were getting? Don't unfriend me is code. So anyway.
Do you ever watch FNG guys?
What's that?
Do you ever watch the FNG guys? The fucking new guy?
No, but God, I've heard it's fantastic. I've heard
It is
it's
hilarious.
amazing.
They roasted Tropic Thunder, and they talked about that, and then they played that scene where Robert Downey Jr. is like, "We're all a little bit gay sometimes." The guy could not keep a straight face. And
Oh,
the
how
moment
can you?
You said that was the first thing that I thought of.
How can you? It's fucking all right. So
Anyway.
That Angel was going to call in, and I hope she does because she's watched it. And I listened to this guy for about 3 minutes, and I was just like, "Oh, how many times can you say, I'm not sure, but I think." And when you're constantly doing that, you're just dropping credibility in the toilet. I guess he did ask for a Navy, somebody to call, and she was letting me know and say, "Well, why don't you call him in since you're in the Navy and you can educate him?" And I'm like, "Well, I think Leroy and I both calling in would be better because you can kind of give him some more up-to-date real-time non-cont stuff, and I can talk to him about what I know, which is just a little bit different than where your area of expertise is and versus where mine is. Then we can kind of fill the gaps. But listen, I'm not saying the U.S. didn't hit Nord Stream 2. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that there is a hell of a lot of a larger probability that Vladimir Putin blew it up himself than the United States necessarily hitting it. I understand what Joe Biden said. I understand the Wall Street Journal article. I blew that thing apart. That thing was set to bed. Leroy, I never asked you, what are you?
I read that article, and I could not wrap my mind around how the author of that article tried to paint a picture where that made sense. It did not make any sense to me, and I thought that it was tactically like third grader kind of shit. So
yeah, it's like somebody who's trying to write a bad spy novel. That's what it came across as to me. I was just like, dude, this, like, the amount of moving parts that you've put into this and how it's not a complete cluster and it was pulled off, it just shows you've never worked for the government. Like, even the government knows, okay, we're going to make a plan and it's going to go to hell, and then we're going to go ahead and ad lib this. That is every single strategic op I have ever been involved in is, we know this is not going to go as planned, so we need contingencies. I mean, contingency is probably the number one word in strike. When you're working in a task force or a group, you hear they're like, "What's your plan?" Great, destroy it, throw it away, and now right. I want 15 variant contingencies based upon your initial plan. So when it goes sideways, we know exactly what to do. And you talk to any group commander or any SEAL team commander, or you talk to any operators, they'll say the same thing. What are our contingencies? You hear that constantly. The fact that this guy laid it out like an Agatha Christie novel, it just was kind of like, I don't know, man. It rubbed me the wrong way. So I hope Angel calls in. She can tell me what she thinks. I'm certainly not blowing this guy up. I don't know anything about him. My first initial reaction was, I don't know. So before we get started tonight, because we've got some good stuff to share, I guarantee I got a video you haven't seen, or maybe you have, because we've got some pretty amazing listeners. I want to show you one thing real quick. Got a new video actually a new photograph to share with you in regards to a shirt. This meme went up, and I put it up. It was a Turkish proverb.
Love that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And this Turkish proverb was, the forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe. For the axe was clever and convinced the trees that because his handle was made of wood, he was one of them. This is turning into a t-shirt. I'm pretty excited to share it with y'all, and we will have it available for sale in the coming days. There seems this meme went absolutely viral, and people love this proverb. And I said, well, if they love it so much, let's get them a t-shirt. And here we are. This is what it's going to look like. Of course, all the shirts come in various colors, but this is going to be the black and brown. That. It looks pretty sick. So that's coming to a theater near you. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the meme. And this is going to bring up some serious conversation. And I think Leroy and Olivia will definitely want to get involved. This, so much stuff on this site. I tell you, sometimes I don't even know half the stuff that's still up here. Okay. So this is the meme, and this thing has officially gone viral, and it simply says, oh, did we lose Leroy?
No.
Hold on, buddy. No, I know, but you're not in the screen. You're not in the screen. I got you. There you go. Boom, poof. There you are. All right. So it says, when every single sporting event and TV commercial wasn't enough, Budweiser says, hold my beer. And then, of course, it says satire on the post, because I don't want people thinking that Budweiser is actually changing the Clydesdale horses to white stallions.
Unicorns.
And you know, gay unicorns, because that's not what's happening, folks. It's a joke. Right? Since Dylan Mulvaney can be a woman, even though he's a man, and they can use him as a woman spokesperson, I figured the next step would be to have rainbow spotted unicorns as their Clydesdales. It's funny. It's a joke. It's hilarious.
Hey,
and most people think...
If Dylan Mulvaney can pretend to be a woman, then we can pretend to be funny.
I completely agree. But here's the thing. The insights on this video are effing incredible. 438,890 people have seen it. 425,634 out of those people it has reached successfully, and they have looked at it for an extended period of time. And the engagements, 10% of the people who see it engage, which means they make a post or they like it. That's incredible. If we go into it, it's got 6.4K likes, 194 hearts, 9,000 laughs, 166 wows, 1.1 thousand tears, and 450 people were mad. It's got 18,000 reactions and 3,000 comments. And over 10,000 people have shared it. Only 20 people have hidden the post, and only 100 people have hidden all posts because of this post. That means that most people get it. But the problem with this is that it has turned into a slugfest of epic proportions. I mean, I've had to ban a couple of hundred people for using homophobic slurs, for people coming in and using the word Nazi. I mean, and otherwise I'm letting them go. Sometimes people are coming in there and saying, ooh, that's disgusting or gross, and I don't like that stuff, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. But if you go in here and you start throwing slurs around, but the big misnomer about this is that people think that they don't want Bud Light celebrating pride. And that's not what this is about. This has nothing to do with it. I want to give you guys a little bit of history. Coors, which is in Boulder, Colorado, which was a sponsor of the Colorado Buffaloes, which is Coors beer is everywhere. Country Mountain Piss Water is what we call it. And essentially it is a fantastic banquet brew, right? Which means that it's cheap, it's easy, and you just drink it and it's enjoyable like Bud Light. It's basically piss water. But 1975, Coors was celebrating LGB. Now, it was never LGBT. Transgenders were added a lot later. So it was the lesbian, gay, and bisexual community. And Coors used to have rainbow-colored Coors symbols and flags and such. Hold on, we got a call. Caller, where are you calling from?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne.
And who are we talking to?
Angel Eye.
Angel, what's going on? Let me finish this up
Yes.
and we're going to bring you in, Angel. Okay, hold on 1 second. So 1975, 1995 was a national campaign, but in Colorado has a very large homosexual and lesbian presence. It's massive. I mean, it's huge. Boulder, Colorado is one of the most eclectic campuses, was one of the biggest party campuses in the 90s. And well, besides those, 16 rapes that they had, but we're not going to talk about that. That's a scar on the football team. But Coors has been celebrating Pride. Bud Light celebrates Pride. Everybody celebrates Pride. Nobody cares. We're annoyed by it because we're sick of it for an entire month. But just the same thing with Black History Month. I mean, same thing with breast cancer. I mean, I'm over it in a couple of days, but it's nothing personal. I just don't want to hear about it every day for a month. But that's not what this is about. This isn't about pride. I think most people may not agree, but have said, gay, lesbian people are here to stay. Bisexuals are here to stay. Transgenders are here to stay. We understand that. We just have some basic requirements. Don't trivialize women. And that's the big gripe here. And people are frustrated by that. So, Leroy, real quick, before I go, I want to show a video real quick so we can kind of put this, on ice and get Angel on and have this conversation.
I will blow everyone's mind with this little insight because I can appreciate the Coors thing, and we'll get to that after the video.
Yeah. So this is, of course, liberals are saying this guy's not real. He's a paid actor. He doesn't seem like a paid actor to me. He seems like most veterans who are looking for a job and he gets a grocery store or he gets a beverage route where he refills beer in grocery stores. He puts 3.2 beer in here. I don't know. He seems pretty convincing. Listen to this video and then we'll bring Angel in for comment and everybody can kind of chat. Here it is.
I work for an affiliate company. I am a merchandiser. And the sole product of the company I work for is Anheuser-Busch products. So with all this canceling going on, I've never seen such little sales in this past few days on these products. And it's sad because when people don't buy this beer, I don't make money and I can't feed my family. So it's kind of heartbreaking, I guess, that Anheuser-Busch did what they did. They don't know their clientele. So it's kind of heartbreaking. Thanks, Anheuser-Busch. I may not be able to feed my family coming up here soon.
It doesn't seem contrived to me. It doesn't seem like, this guy's starving for attention or is, a TikTok extraordinaire. But the problem that I have with this whole thing is that, the left is saying, oh, Anheuser-Busch is fine. They're on a 52-week vertical trend. No, they're not. They were. And now they're down, $5.50 to $6. They've lost $7 billion in market share, or in valuation. That's a lot of money. People, and of course, the left are like, oh, they didn't lose $7 billion in cash. They're not going bankrupt. And it's like, I thought you were the educated party. I thought this was the party that was supposed to be, we were supposed to be the knuckle draggers. And I'm like, how can you not understand the stock market? How can you not understand the ebbs and flows of what market valuation is and how detrimental it is to the stockholders and what that earnings call is going to look like? Because you're telling me they're going to make it up with $7 billion in market cap? How? How is that going to happen when people are saying, no, we don't want to buy? So they're all saying, well, the biggest contracts for Bud Light is the NFL and NASCAR and NHL and MLB. I'm like, yeah, but who buys that stuff? A bunch of rednecks who go to sports games and they're not going to buy Bud Light anymore. Right. People are really genuinely pissed because it's not about transgenderism. They don't care that these companies have been supporting LGBTQ. It's the fact that Dylan Mulvaney, who is a man, is nationally trying to represent being a woman, and we're fucking sick of it. We're just done with it. We're like, we're not going to play in your fan. And that was always the rule, Leroy, wasn't it? It's like, listen, we don't care. Be who you want to be. Wear a dress, whatever. But the moment that you say you want us to go ahead and embrace your delusion, we're going to draw a line. Well, we drew a line. What did you want? We told you this was going to happen. What's your take? $7 billion in market cap. What are your feelings on this? Olivia, I want to get yours too.
So the company value, right, went from something like $135 billion, and then they went down to like $128 billion. So
it's 54 billion. They're not worth $128 billion.
I looked it up a little while ago, just before.
Okay, well, let me. I don't mean to argue with you, but I don't want to put out false information.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It is. I'm sorry. It really does, because this is information that's really important to get accurate. Because what we don't want to do is put out fake information. Right now, it's $63.58 a share on the 5-day turn. High volume for the last 60 days was $66. Their valuation, my understanding, is that it was 54.6 before the crash. I'm just letting you know that's the information that I have. Okay, go ahead.
We're good. So everything that I saw suggested that they lost something like 70% of their sales, and then to your point, that they lost somewhere anywhere between $7 to $8 billion. Now, when we think about that and we start thinking about, okay, well, why? To your point, Matt, 40 years ago, when Coors celebrated Pride, okay, here's the difference between then and now, and what Coors did and what Anheuser-Busch did. 40 years ago, right, when people were celebrating Pride, it was because there was a celebration going on that basically said from a beer company that we don't care who you are, just be yourself, right? Be genuine to who you are, right? And so that's what Pride was. It was basically a celebration of who you are, no judgments, right? Fast forward that. Now we're into this woke culture stuff, and now you have a representative who's basically celebrating who he is pretending to be. So it's the exact opposite. We have gone from, we want you to be as genuine as humanly possible, to, no, I want you to celebrate me as I pretend to be somebody else. Correct. That's disingenuous, and that's why they lost something like 70% of their sales, and that their overall company value dropped by several $billion. That's why.
So to clarify, market cap for Anheuser-Busch and InBev, which is the proprietary company who owns, is $129 billion. My number is actually annual sales at being 54 billion. So thank you, Leroy. I just want to make sure we're putting out the right. I always want to fact check things, right? Because I wasn't positive. So you're right. 129.1 billion is where the overall market cap is. Revenue annually is 54 billion. So essentially, against market cap, they lost, at 129 billion, you're looking at 12 would be 10%. So about 8% of their market cap. That's quite a bit. That's a lot of money. And when you look at their overall sales, it's ridiculous. You're talking about losing 15 to 16% of your overall revenue in 5 days. So that's an incredible amount of loss. And I don't know if I like to see this or not. I'll be honest with you. I have Michelob Ultra down in my fridge, right? We have Bud Light down in the fridge, a couple of other beers down the fridge. I'm not going to boycott Bud Light for this. I don't boycott companies. If I like your product, I'm going to use your product.
We don't drink enough to.
We don't drink enough to give a shit. But what I have a problem with is that I completely understand what people are going through with this. Olivia, I'd like to. Hi, Hade. Hi. Welcome home. Hi. How are you? What's wrong? I just hear a bang. Oh, it's mom dropping stuff as always. And she just unplugged the wall.
Oh. I'm having one of those days.
Can we do a show?
Yes, we can.
When?
Now.
Jeez.
It's not unlike what happens with the rest of what's going on in the rest of Hollywood and every other product base, right? When we're talking about oh, she's so cute.
Sorry, we got she's doing plays and stuff. So she just got home. She's been gone all night. And of course, Olivia gets up, knocks everything over, and it falls over. And here we are. This show is just not usually the way we do things. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, what I was going to say was, it wasn't that long ago when people tried to cancel Gina Carano off of Disney, right? And it's the same thing. This is just backlash in the opposite direction. here you did have a case of somebody who was just basically speaking her mind, right? A legitimate her, and
was right.
So, and was right.
And was right.
And was right. And so when we're talking about, these mass cancellations that seem to be happening throughout all industries at this point, it's really kind of, if you're a marketing director, Matt would be able to school me up and down on this one. But if you're a marketing director, or if you're in charge of advertising at this point of your company, you need to be very careful with what you are throwing up on your billboards and who you're jumping in bed with, because this is the repercussions.
And if you look at the moral side of this, if Budweiser was on the right side of this, every single other company who is a beer manufacturer would be jumping on board and go get Dylan Mulvaney or go find their own transgender person. They're not. They're shutting up because they're going to lose 0.25% of their market share. That is a huge amount of money. I mean, to lose 0.25% of market share in marketing is most companies spend an entire quarter's worth of budget to gain 0.25 of a point in market share. They're going to lose 0.25 to 0.5 in market share over this. That is billions of dollars on their overall forecasted revenue. People will be fired for this. And the sad thing is that Anheuser-Busch was going like this. Once it was taken over and InBev came in, they were on a plateau of a 52-week high. And this one thing made them go, I don't necessarily agree with the cancel culture. I don't think boycotting or deciding to spend money elsewhere is a bad thing. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. We also have, Dylan Mulvaney is also now a spokesperson for Olay. I saw that on Twitter. So this guy, he's just raking in the cash. Now, I've got Angel here. I got Olivia here. I want to get the women's perspective. Angel, what are your thoughts on you? This is a gentleman who is a scientist who came on my show or came on Twitter a little bit earlier. And he said to me, I don't understand why you're so anti-trans. And I'm like, I'm not anti-trans, you jackass. And he goes, and he keeps saying it over and over. And then his point was, I don't see how you can not accept that people's life experiences and self-identity is important and that you should respect that and respect trans people. And I said, well, I don't understand the hypocrisy of why you think women should lose their self-identity and experience in order to make men pretending to be women feel better. How can you ask? This is what the thing about individual rights is. Dylan Mulvaney, if wants to associate as a woman, great. That's fine. But it doesn't make him a woman. Just like It doesn't make Elizabeth Warren Native American, where she can go ahead and get benefits for jobs. And it doesn't make Richard Blumenthal a Vietnam veteran simply because he was in the Marine Corps during Vietnam. So we have to be very careful with allowing people's delusion to predicate a new norm and a new natural law and new science. I mean, don't we have to, what is the science behind this? I haven't heard anyone tell me, except for one thing, which was a brain developing more to a female brain inside the womb in a male's body versus a male brain inside of what you get what I'm saying. In fact, the development of the brain was more female or male. And I'm like, well, then it is a mental issue because the brain controls your emotions. It controls your anger. It controls your feelings, your wants, your needs, your nerve endings, your pain, your love. Everything goes through here. And if you're telling me that someone is developed in a certain way, then that's an abnormality. And that may not be a nice way to say it, but it's true. Just like somebody who's a hermaphrodite isn't the norm. We talked about this last night. It's an abnormality in science. And those people absolutely deserve consideration. And they are in a spot that's very difficult, and it should be handled on a case-by-case basis. What should not happen is somebody from, skull freaking chewing tobacco shouldn't come here and say, Dylan Mulvaney, he's a female that chews tobacco, and give him a contract because he says I'm a woman. It doesn't make any sense. Right. It's antithetical to what we all understand. So Olivia, Angel, I want to get your perspective. Sorry, I went on a diatribe. Go ahead.
So the video that you showed, that guy looked real upset, looked real genuine. He almost looked like he was about to cry,
Yeah.
and his voice was cracking. So I think that's totally real. As far as Bud Light, remember a few years ago when everyone boycotted Chick-fil-A because they refused to support LGBTQ, and they something along the lines. I can't remember the exact thing, or they wouldn't.
They
give
didn't
birth control
refuse.
away, or,
I want to be. Let's
Yes,
give proper information. They donated to several campaigns that were pro-life.
Right.
They were one of the largest LGBTQ companies as far as hires in the country. They have a ton of gay and lesbian employees, and they were not anti-gay. They just chose to fund pro-life and groups that were pro-family, Christian-orientated, that didn't necessarily believe in lesbian, gays, bisexuals, transgenderism. And although they didn't go ahead and predicate their entire work functions as having any homophobic tendencies whatsoever, first of all, they'd be against the law. You can't do that. But Chick-fil-A had always supported the community and the reflection of the community, but their personal values and the owner's personal values was to promote Christian values. And whether you like it or not, that's the case. And of course, the lesbian gay community decided to boycott. Go ahead.
All right. So thank you. I couldn't remember exactly what it is. So there was that whole boycott, and it lasted like 2 weeks. And then everyone's like, well, I want my chicken again. And it was over. This is going to be it. Unfortunately, most people nowadays don't have real conviction, and they say, I'm going to go do this. And then it gets too hard to go do that. And so they stop. So the people who stop buying Bud are going to be like, I don't really like the new beer. I'm going to go buy my old beer. And it's going to last 2 or 3 weeks. And then the market share is going to be back up, and it's going to be over. So that would be my opinion. Now, as far as the oil of Olay, yeah, I'm upset, but I use oil of Olay products, and I am not willing to change my face products, my soap and my face wash and my lotion, because when you're my age, when you find something that works, you stick with it. And if I switch right now, my face is going to go crazy. So I refuse to.
Here's the thing is, as a man looking at this, and certainly not a woman who wears makeup, an angel, I'm going to get to you right now, is that Dylan Mulvaney should be a spokesperson for Olay. And I'll tell you why. Because he looks good. He's got 5 o'clock shadow that is hard to believe. And if oil of Olay can cover up that, then fine. What you don't get to do is say, as a woman, I choose oil of Olay.
Right.
No, you don't. As a person who identifies as a woman and wants to look like and appear to be a woman, I use oil of Olay because if it can cover my 5 o'clock shadow or my blemishes, then what can it do for you as a woman? Be your natural, beautiful self like I feel every single day. And you know what I would do? I'd fucking stand up and I'd applaud. I would stand up and I would applaud him for that, because that takes courage and that takes balls, and he's got them.
Yeah, he does have them.
But I have a problem with you saying I'm a woman, so therefore buy oil of Olay. And not just a woman, but a 13-year-old girl who runs around the Plaza Hotel and dresses in pigtails. I mean, you haven't seen that fucking video. That thing's a little weird. Angel, what are your thoughts on this? Angel,
you there?
Oh shit! Hold on, I disconnected.
Oh.
Hold on. No, she's here. I just have to get this connected back to Bluetooth. Hold on, it's coming.
While we're waiting, just so you know, that was my mom that called, and she made it on the flight, so she'll be here tonight.
Oh, great.
Just so you know.
I love your mom. Angel, can you hear us now? Angel. Oh, dude, phone. Angel, we love you. You got to call back. Oh, isn't it just the way
It comes
is?
in 3, so that should be done. It should be over.
Leroy, your thoughts, any other thoughts on this that can last about a minute?
No, I think
Good.
to your point.
I'll be right back.
I think to your point, where if oil of Olay can make, this face, if they could make it look feminine, I mean, advertise that by saying, I'm a woman.
Angel, hold on.
No, you're not. And let's not pretend, right? You can say that you use it. You can, it can be the best product in the world, and you do, in fact, look fantastic. But you don't get to say that you're a woman using it. That's my take.
All right, test. Can you hear us now? Test. Hello, can you hear us? All right, we know you can hear us. Leroy, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay, good enough. I'm going to try to get Angel on now.
Speakers, not headphones.
Test.
Leroy was coming out the speakers.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Just hold, Angel. We're not talking to you. Test. No, it's not.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So, Angel, go ahead and give us your thoughts on if you had a chance to listen. Is that correct?
Only did you? I should. I really couldn't hear Olivia.
Okay, Olivia, say something really quick.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes,
Okay.
I
Okay.
can now.
All right. So let's get. There's something going on in chat where I don't know. Somebody's throwing a hissy fit. So everyone, just calm down. All right, please. We don't need any drama tonight. Okay, it's enough. I got my mother-in-law coming in town. I don't need any more drama. Angel, your thoughts on this Bud Light thing? Please tell me what's up.
This Bud Light thing, that's insane. A man cannot be a woman. I mean, not just your DNA says what you are, but if you take everything off of a person and all you have left is bones, I mean, there is one gender specific bone in the body, in our bodies.
The pelvis.
Well, the ribs.
And it's our pelvis.
Women have less ribs, right? Isn't that the fact?
Do they?
No, Adam has.
I'm-
Hold on. Is
It's
it
supposed to be men.
men have? Yeah, because Adam gave up his rib to. What did he do? Adam gave up his rib. What's the story? What's the fable?
That God took one of Adam's ribs to make the woman.
Right.
That's
So
the
so women
story.
so men have one less rib than a woman. Isn't that accurate?
I'm not sure about that,
Olivia's looking it up.
but I'm
Let me
talking.
see.
Okay.
But the pelvic region is a
talking about
major
the pelvic.
difference, right? Pelvic region is a major difference in a woman.
Oh.
Height,
Yes.
weight, where they carry the stress
The pelvic
factors.
region-
Go ahead.
The pelvic is totally different in men and women, and that is really the only gender specific bone we have.
Okay, but I thought there was something with stress fractures where you guys carry your stress. There's certain areas of the bone, I don't remember what they're called, but they're slight, interlocking lines that, especially in the head, which can take impact and create sectional distribution of impact in the brain. Also, your thigh bone and your clavicle and shoulder bones, they all have those stress points too. They're a little bit different in women proportionately. No. If you look at the human skull, there's ziggly little lines. Looks like a worm on the skull itself, and it's essentially for impact and stress. If you have one solid piece of skull, so an impact will distribute to the point of the weakest point of the brain, or the weakest point of the skull, and those stress points allow the brain to absorb more impact. I don't remember what they're called, but they're throughout the rest of our body, and they're different in women than men in the different locations. So that's another way you can tell. What about the rib?
They're same, 12 pairs each.
So God took Adam's rib and then gave it back to him.
Just another lie I was told growing up.
No, see, but you don't know. I mean, because honestly, I thought it sounded a little strange to me, but I remember the story in the Bible. But remember, there's a lot of things in the Bible that aren't 100% accurate.
Like men and dinosaurs lived peacefully together.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the big one.
It is what it is. All right. So Angel, I think we're all feeling kind of the same thing when it comes to, it's not growth plates. Is it growth plates? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Skull, you guys, hold on. Stress points. All right, Angel, tell us about this guy and tell us everything, that we need to know about this. You wanted to talk about the Nord Stream 2, and we're here to talk to you about it. Angel, son of a bitch. Angel, can you hear me now? I don't know what's wrong with our phone again. I'm so done with technology tonight. I swear to God, I'm just done. Angel, it's not going to work tonight, sweetie. I love you. Bye. Okay.
Now, that being said, there are other differences, biological differences, the way the brain is actually constructed. I want to say that males have like more neurons, more pathways in one specific part of the brain versus women who have more in another part of the brain. So there are physical differences even in the brain. There's differences in your bones, specifically the pelvis. We just got done talking about that. Hormone levels are different. So when we're talking about, the differences between men and women, these things are not, they're literally in your bones. And so men can't have a cervix. It doesn't work. And women can't produce sperm. So, we, at one point in time, we were okay with calling those differences between them, between the two sexes. We were okay with giving them names like men and women. I don't know what the hell happened in the last 5 years where all of a sudden that's like up in the air. But I don't, you need to be able to agree on certain biological facts.
So what I'm talking about is you look at the sectionals of the brain, and there's different, here's a good picture of it right here. They're called the Lambold suture. They're called sutures is what it looks like. The sagittal suture. And you can see these little lines that are in the brain that basically create quadrants of the skull. And every person has these. You can see them right here. And it basically just looks...
Is that from when we were babies?
Yes, yes.
So that because the skull was soft at that point, it was squishy.
That is correct. It's a soft palate, and essentially, it's not fully solidified until a certain age. But those stress points ultimately aid in our growth and the expansion of the human skull. But they're also used and designed for impact. Is that impact can be taken on one side of the skull and not necessarily transfer over to the other side because of the breakage. So imagine a melon hitting the concrete and the whole melon gets destroyed, or you drop, a slice of melon on the ground and not necessarily the whole thing doesn't get obliterated. So it's distribution of energy and everything else. But either way, those lines are throughout our body with our growth patterns, and you'll see these, and they allow our bones to take certain impacts. Women have different patterns than men. They're not identical. One is because their bone structure is smaller, but also the patterns of these, especially with women with a lower center of gravity, with a wider pelvic region, their legs have different stress points, and these type of, preventive, whatever it is for growth and also for impact are slightly different than men. That's my point. Does that make sense? Sure I'm not a doctor. I can't give you the scientific names. I certainly can't. But that's it.
Hey, look, all I know is that when Dylan Mulvaney hits 50, he's still going to have to go get his prostate checked. That's still on the plate. You're going to have to do that.
Right. And we understand this. All right. So listen, I apologize that we cannot get Angel on tonight. We need to get this phone thing fixed. We thought we had it fixed, but alas, we don't. And that's the way this works. And it's frustrating, and we're sorry about it, folks. So no phone calls tonight because, once again, we can't get it fixed.
You can always call in a video.
Yeah, you can call in the video, but that's really all you get. And no offense. All right. So there's another video I wanted to show you all. And this is a video that I did. I don't know. It must have been it was in the primary. So 2022 primary. And this is somebody up in your neck of the woods who ran for Senate. And it was Majewski. You remember Majewski?
Yeah.
Well, Majewski's back, folks. And he's back with a passion. Now, I was pretty hard on this guy when he ran because Liv, can you give them the video call number, please? I
just did.
Okay. So when he ran for Senate, it was uncovered that he had stolen Valor by, like many people have done, say they did more in the military than what they actually did. And when his DD-214 was shown, he was like, I wore BDUs, I was overseas, I didn't take showers for months at a time, which is ridiculous because unless you're running, unless you're an operator, showers are readily available pretty much everywhere in every FOB, every FOB. Have you seen a FOB that didn't have water?
Nope.
Leroy? Neither have I. So you always have water, even when you're on a detached unit, you're on a convoy, or they always have water. So I don't know what he's talking about, but maybe not take a shower. If you're doing recon or you're in a situation where you're gonna sit on something for 3 days, you don't have any water. You also very little food. The basics. But for him to sit here and say I couldn't take a shower is pretty ridiculous. But this guy completely just kept digging himself in a hole. And at one point I just said, screw this. I'm going to do a show on this guy. And he didn't win. He was also a January 6er, said, I wish I could put my BDUs on and get in there and go and fight. And, it's just really weird shit. So Donald Trump endorsed him, of course. And like all the other 17 people that were in, toss-up races, they all lost. Well, Majewski lost as well. Here is his new video of him announcing that in 2024 he's running. And, he had all of his funding from the RNC pulled. They ghosted him. And he just got destroyed. But here he is. And he's running again. And I figured I would show you this video. Merry Christmas.
This. Yeah.
Here it is.
Hi, everyone. This is J.R. Majewski. And today I would like to formally announce my campaign for Congress in Ohio's 9th District. You see, Marcy Kaptur, who I like to call Corrupt Kaptur, was recently...
So you've got some balls. Kaptur. Right. You've got some, careful of talking over it real quick because the mics are hot right now because I'm trying to turn up the audio on this. But if you want to say something just real quick, just put up your finger, either one of you. Otherwise, it's going to blare us out. So to call her corrupt when you lied about your service and you still haven't owned it and you still blame everyone for it she didn't change your DD-214, bro. She didn't take your service accommodations. You didn't apply for any of those service medals that you supposedly served. And then you conveniently said, oh, well, I just didn't do that. You know what? The first thing they tell you when you out process is every single person who's been in the military for years says, go get your service jacket, make sure everything's up to date, go get checked by medical, go get checked by dental, go to admin, go to every single one of your folders and ensure that it's up to date with your current service medals and put in all the chits that you have for your request. Make sure your transcripts are there, any college credit you got, and make sure it is all photocopied and ready to go. Why? Because when you out process, if you go to the VA for disability, you're going to need all of that stuff. And if all those I's and T's aren't crossed, you're not going to get shit. No veteran, especially somebody who is saying they were a wartime veteran, who, didn't take showers and was in the shit and he served with John J. Rambo. You're going to have your I's and T's crossed. So for him to say this is ridiculous.
Exposed. She was caught spending millions of dollars lying about my military career. I'm proud to stand.
Now, she's allowed to spend millions of dollars against you because it's campaign finance. She wasn't lying about you. You couldn't answer anything. You went to a press conference and you looked like a complete ass. You provided no proof of your service. You were caught several times in podcasts saying, oh, I don't want to talk about my service. And then when you did, you falsified your service.
With the truth. Right. And I'm proud that my record has been vindicated. And I'm proud to be stronger than ever in my fight alongside you against the corrupt elite class of Washington, D.C. Now, this campaign, it's about the working class citizens of Ohio. This campaign is about putting America first. And this campaign is about fighting for you. And I'm asking...
Even though I didn't fight for my country.
It seems like the most money he could get on a soundtrack was his bass player of The Kid Next Door.
Yeah, I know. It's like, where are the drums? We couldn't afford the processing. We only got a single track. Angel, I see you calling. Hold on.
Every one of you to go to jr4ohio.com right now and join Team Majewski. Last cycle, we started a movement. This cycle, we win.
No, you don't.
You started a movement, all right.
Look at the dogs.
I know. He's still waiting for that oat bran muffin to come out, though.
.com.
Where's
right
it at? jr4ohio.com. Let's go ahead and let's go. Let jr4ohio.com. Listen, I care about Republicans. I do. I want them to be successful. Oh, look at this. Look at this. He's got does Trump still endorse him? I don't know. Support him. I'm firmly committed. Okay, let's see what he's got for his vindication, right? Because that's important, isn't it? his military service vindication? Here it is.
Yeah.
Cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Business, a Master of Science in Management, magna cum laude, is what he says. I want his transcripts.
Yeah,
This guy does not scream. He does not scream magna. He may come loud, but I don't think he's a magnum cum laude or a cum laude or summa cum laude.
Dubious about that.
So am I. Began his career in nuclear security at First Energy. Majewski went to manage multiple multi-million-dollar projects, nuclear industry. He applied his leadership skill. There's nothing about his military service here. The Polish village, Majewski attended. Oh, here we go. Graduating in 98. He then served honorably in the United States Air Force from 99 to 2003. During his tenure in the Air Force, Majewski served overseas and was deployed to the Middle East in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Majewski has also earned his dude. So if you were vindicated, asshole, you would then have your wartime service in Afghanistan that you claimed. You would have your time in Fallujah that you claimed. You wouldn't say I was support staff. So now you're telling the truth. You're not vindicated. What you did is you lost your ass, and you're hoping there's enough time that people like me won't still. I'm gonna fucking hawk you until 2024 November. I'm gonna do shows on you and give weekly updates about what a twat waffle you are. The fact that you come out here and say you're vindicated, no, you changed what you were. And I've got the receipts to prove it. I'll pull that video up and I'll show you the screenshots of your service record. I'll show screenshots of your website. I'll bring up all the video of the podcast that you went and lied on. And now and you know what? You're making a Democrat look good. Dude, you need to get out of this race. The RNC is not going to put money on you in any way, shape. The best way to put this is what George Bush said. Hurt me once, shame on me. Hurt me twice, shame on me too.
You know the thing.
There it is. That's the Republican.
That's a good push.
Now, I will say this, right?
Oh.
Is that certainly the guy lied. We know that he got busted doing pretending to be something that he wasn't.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Did his opponent do it as well?
I'm sure.
Right? And that's where I'm headed
do
with
what?
that.
Wait. Do what? Do what? Like pretend she had military service?
No. Not necessarily that, but lie in some way. Right. And so while people like that campaign, what I'm saying is that there's a level of trust that once it's shattered in terms of politics, in terms of basically saying, hey, I didn't do stolen valor. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, own it.
That's not something that's going to wash off of you for a very long time.
Yeah, that's a stank that doesn't come off, bro.
And so when we're talking about the same thing on the other side of the aisle, Kapoor or Kapoor or however you say her name, right? I wonder if there's some level of distrust in there as well, which is kind of what leads me to my next point, which is that politicians, you really need to be skeptical of them. You really need to be skeptical of them. And when they say that they've done or will do something, it needs to be taken with that grain of salt that basically says, all right, well, let's look at your track history and let's make sure that that what you're saying really lines up with what your history was. Because if it doesn't, I think the safest thing to do is to, vote the other guy.
Listen, I'll be completely transparent here. I said I want Ohio. I don't vote for the guy. Like, just don't vote. I know that sounds stupid. You're like, but the Democrat. No, folks, we've got to take a stand. And we can't keep putting people in here like this. Listen, I'm not going to compare my service. This guy did more in the military than I did. When it comes to deployments, now his contributions, I don't have his full service record, so I don't know. But I challenged him to come on and clear his name, and he knew. I was big enough during the election. People knew how many people I had. He knew who I was. He knew I called him out. I tagged him on it. He chose to ghost everybody. So until he comes and clears his good name or tries to reestablish it, fuck him. I'm not going to give him any clearance. If Leroy and I downplay our service to the nth degree every single time we talk, and we don't sit here and make up grandiose stories about what we did or didn't do, then he can do it too. I've never lied about my service on the resume. I always tell the truth. In fact, I downplay what I've done. Period. So this is it. And I'm not going to let the guy off the hook for any reason, shape, or form. Go ahead, Angel, and call again. and we'll get you in. There's one other video I wanted to show. Anybody else want to say anything about Majewski?
He's my age, which is kind of sad. We graduated the same year. Unfortunately, when it comes to lying about your military service, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to get elected, considering what's his face? The
Blumenthal?
Democrat. Yeah, Blumenthal.
Blumenthal was already in. And of course, you know, Blumenthal spins it. He's got the apparatus. He's got the money. But Majewski he had all his funding pulled. The RNC is not going to go ahead and endorse him. And if they do, I'm going to speak out against the guy. I'm sorry. I just, all he's going to do is come on and clear his name or clear his name with another podcast. That should be on his site. I want to apologize. I didn't lie. I exaggerated. And I know a lot of people consider that lying, but my service is this. And I kind of went with the stories and people got caught up and I got some interviews and I got a little lippy, and it happens to the best of us. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I want you to forgive me. I said a lot of bad things about my opponent and she was right. I hate to say it. She was right. But let me tell you why her policies are wrong. And bam. And that's all you do. And you say that a couple thousand times for 6 months and then you're free and clear of this. But instead you're like, I've been vindicated. You know what? Fuck you. No, you haven't. You're a con man.
Never apologize.
You're a grifter. And you dishonor all veterans when you steal valor. I'm sorry. I don't have any. No.
Yeah. Contrition goes a lot further than basically claiming vindication, because you weren't.
Yeah. Period. Okay. So that's what bothered. I didn't even watch the video. So when I heard that, I was really pissed. Like, you could tell. I was just like, dude, I can't believe he said that. Here's the thing. Everyone knows Justin Pearson, right? Is that his name? Is that one of the Tennessee Three? Justin Pearson. Now,
it is. Yeah, I think you're right. It's Justin Pearson.
So, so you guys have a choice. I can show you the videos without my comment. You guys have to see these. You're gonna piss your pants. I can show you the videos uncut, or I can show you the one I put together where it all makes sense, and that is about 8 minutes. Or you can watch it 5 minutes and just watch it uncut. I would recommend doing the cut version. I'm going to release it tomorrow morning, but a lot of people haven't seen this footage, including, you know, him and his cohorts stomping on a cop car in a BLM riot, including him doing a video where he's completely Hodgkins out and he's like, you'll see. I'm just going to play the damn thing. You know what? I run the show. So I'm just going to play it and everyone is going to enjoy it and you're going to love it. So here it is. Enjoy this video. I think you will find it to be extremely funny. Please, comments are welcome throughout this. I don't know if we could do it without a straight face, or with a straight face anyway.
What's going on, Dumb Nation? I've got 2 videos to share with you. Justin Pearson, you know, the Tennessee Three. It's the gentleman who is African American. He's got a very large haircut, very similar to Colin Kaepernick. You may remember. He has a penchant for the dramatic, I would say. Very similar to, I don't know, maybe a...
Oh, Carrie, I've got it. I've got his statement, and I've got more. You just wait. You guys haven't, I promise you haven't seen this. If you have, I'll be shocked.
Maybe a sermon that you would find in a Baptist church. Maybe something you would see at a Black Panther rally, or something you would see from a very spirited Malcolm X. Either way, it's interesting to say the least. And then the other video I'll let you watch in just a second. And it's quite the contrast. Justin Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, it's hold on to your hats.
Oh yeah, that's the uncut.
I hope you enjoyed that. I've got another video for you.
Hold on, damn it! I thank God I got it at that point.
Oh, I love that pose though. Right at the end, it looks like you're about to yell.
Oh yeah,
be healed.
What's going on, Dumb Nation? All right, here we go. 2 videos to share with you. Man.
Okay, here it is. All right.
Malcolm X. and it's quite the contrast. Justin Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, it's hold on to your hats.
To the well. I believe in a division. People who've been ostracized coming to the well. See, I see white folk and black folk. I see queer folk and straight folk. I see rich folk and poor folk coming from the back to the well of demanding justice right now. Not tomorrow, but right now. Justice right now. It is this movement. Right now. That's going to change this country. It's this movement in this moment in time that's going to change the country. And I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. Yeah.
Look at what he's doing. What are you doing with a coat, James Brown? It's like, what is he doing? Oh, did you guys? I'm not kidding.
He's
just
so
wait.
glad.
Just wait.
Jump around.
Yeah, man.
Jump around.
It's like the Hodge twins on steroids. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it's stage theater. It's not real. It's completely fake. It's James Brown meets Malcolm X meets a clown. And people are voting for this. They're eating this up, that this guy is the next Messiah. His good friend that was with him in the Tennessee Three, we've got photos of them standing on cop cars in 2020 during BLM riots. It's been interesting to see. There's a lot coming out now, and we're finding out that the group is more radical than anything else. Watch this video, and then I will be right back.
Dude, hold on to your hats. If you have not seen this, I'm not kidding. Just grab the brim, because it might blow off in the amount of suckage and reverse 180 that this guy does. It'll create a vortex. Here it is.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of BSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Bowdoin Democrats to the Bowdoin Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Seemed like the NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But oh, that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes.
That's quite the contrast.
Oh my God.
One's a real estate video, and
Watch.
dare I say, very polished, very well spoken. And we've seen pandering before, but I don't think I've ever seen a black man pander to black people. I don't think I've ever seen it. We've seen Hillary Clinton do it. We've seen Kamala Harris do it. You remember Hillary Clinton? My hot sauce. Yes, it's in my purse. Hold on a second. You use hot sauce? I sure do. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, don't you think people might consider that pandering, Hillary? Okay. Is it working? Bill Clinton used to do it. Democrats do it all the time. Republicans, not really. I don't think. Now there could be a clip that I'm missing, but it really doesn't matter. The point is that this guy's a fraud. He's a phony, and everyone's eating it up. But in a world where rainbow-spotted unicorns are a gender, and Dylan Mulvaney can be a woman, and men can get pregnant, this isn't a surprise. And it's almost like there is a suspension of disbelief. It's almost like the Democratic Party and the leftists have reverted back to childhood, and they believe in Jack and the Beanstalk. They believe in the Tooth Fairy. And reality has been suspended for this alternate universe on another astral plane that is completely nonsensical. This guy has a lot to answer for. It's only been a short period of time since 2016. What happened between then and now? I'm sure everyone's going to have an excuse, and someone's going to say, well, people change. Not like that. That is literally a 180 if I've ever seen one before. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you guys soon tonight at 8 o'clock. Later. What's going on?
I'm in no ways tired.
I'm in no ways tired.
Well, that was some weird shit.
I don't understand. Sorry, folks, we're going to be blacked out for a second because when it rains, it pours. We just had this working, and we're broken again. I don't understand. Okay, someone's like, that's not what Southern Baptist, folks. I'm not a religious person. I've been in church when I was 6 years old, so cut me some slack. I have no idea which churches are absolutely like that and which are not. So cut me a little slack. Okay. But I will tell you, whatever church it is, it's pretty funny to see people act like that.
Yeah.
And pretend they're something that they're not. And I'd love to get your reaction. So Leroy, go ahead. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Well, that video is kind of hilarious, isn't it? I mean, for a hot second, I thought, John Belushi was going to go start doing backflips up the aisle, while this guy was giving his sermon. Look, the problem here is that the only reason this guy is in front of the camera at all at this point is because somehow he got elected, technically he's a lawmaker. Technically, if he works for the Tennessee General Assembly, okay, then he is part of the lawmaking process. And as part of that, this is where it gets great. As part of that, you're supposed to hold true to certain decorum when you are in session. And him and his buddy basically got ejected from the General Assembly for using bullhorns that are explicitly listed as you're not allowed to do that while in session. So the guy goes up, starts with his bullhorn, starts, mouthing off, whatever, right? You're not supposed to do that. They eject him. The Democrats are trying to make it about race. It was never about race. It was about that stupid bullhorn. And then now he's welcome back, and now you see this kind of reaction where he's given a sermon. The whole thing is bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Well, we are officially broken. The entire podcast is fucking just broken. Nothing's working. Everything's broken that can be broken. So this is the way things are. Angel, call when I tell you to call. And I promise you we'll get you on. Angel, go ahead and give us a call right now. Right now, give us a call, please.
What's going on, Dumb Nation?
And I'm going to try to get this fixed.
I've got two videos to share with you.
This is crazy. I've never seen this happen. Yeah, it's absolutely weird, Leroy. Leroy, we're just going to go side by side. Olivia, can you put up the dumb logo, please?
Yes.
Never seen this happen. We lost our hard drive, our external hard drive, which runs all of our images, and it's kaput. Because let's put it this way: that video was such bullshit that it crashed my computer. That's how bad it was. Okay, Angel, call now, please. Joanne says, I saw your video, Awake, Not Woke. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch that, that's a good one. You guys should watch that. Angel, call now or forever hold your peace. We're going to pull the plug if you don't call. Olivia, take your 1 minute because Angel's not calling.
Okay. I don't know. I watched the video earlier with you, and I was like in total shock of what the hell is this? I was a little confused. It's typical pandering by politicians. Both sides do it. I think the Democrats do it more than the Republicans, but that's just typical. And the fact that people can't see that they're lying to you to try and get your vote. I don't understand how normal people can't see that. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, and it's to the point where it's almost offensive, because I think he started talking like that. And I don't know if he's been talking like that his whole life or whatever, but obviously not. But it's not just the way he said it. It's what he said in that other video, that he wants to bring parties together and he wants to listen to conservative voices and Democrat voices and listen to both people and have more dialogue and discourse. It doesn't sound like you want any of that when you're shouting down the opposition party with bullhorns and megaphones. I mean, does that seem like that jives with anyone else? Because it certainly doesn't with me. Folks, we do have Angel on, and we're going to bring her on right now, and she is going to talk about, I think, Nord Stream 2. That's not Angel. That's me. We've got the video working again. At this point, this is like U571. We just need to let this thing sink and take the Enigma codebreaker with it. Angel, tell us, what do you want to talk about when it comes to Nord Stream 2? And you tell us about this guy, and let's have that conversation. I'll kind of explain what I was thinking and tell me what you were thinking.
Okay. First of all, it's Monkey Works, US.
Yeah, we're not gonna promote him on the show. So there's a guy. His name's Monkey. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, the plane came from the United States. Pretty sure they refueled. They went to Iceland, landed on ground, and refueled in Iceland. Went across Denmark, and not a B2. Hold on, I got it written down.
Is that Keflavik in Iceland, Leroy?
I'm not sure.
U.S. Naval Air Station Keflavik probably is the Iceland base, I believe. I'm not sure. Okay, Angel, you got to turn down wherever I'm coming out of noise wise. Where's that coming from?
My phone.
Are you watching me on a computer? Are you watching me on a TV? Are you watching me anywhere else?
Nope, my phone.
Okay, am I on speaker?
No.
There's no way. Because it's you, it's not us. So we got a ton of. All right, so fine. So this plane flew off out of Iceland, right?
Yes.
Or it flew. Where did it leave from exactly?
United States. I'm not quite sure. It was the East Coast. I think it was real close to Canada. Is what it looked like.
There's a couple bases, New York. There's bases off Norfolk. You've got Kings Bay, Georgia, which is too far. You've got Naval Air Station, Florida. I mean, you've got bases. Okay, fine. So this P-8 is what you're saying. Flies to Iceland.
Right.
Refuels.
Right.
Lands in Iceland, then goes where?
It goes through Denmark, to that water. I think it's the Black Sea. I'm not quite sure what it's called.
It is the Black Sea. Yep.
Met with a refueler out of Germany. They flew around refueling for about an hour and a half, which I'm pretty sure that it takes, brain aneurysm. It takes that long to refuel if you're like almost empty.
In a P8? No.
Yeah.
No. In a KC-135 refueler, you're talking tops to refuel from bingo to full with connection with paced flight. Hold on a second. You asked a question. I'm going to tell you. With paced flight time, with moving in, I would say 10 minutes tops. Maybe 25 to get in and out of position during rough, turbulent weather. Leroy, do you have any other information on that, or am I in ballpark?
Nope. I'm thinking you're in the ballpark. And to be perfectly honest, this is all news to me. This is the first time I'm hearing about this one, so I'm kind of treating it as a good story at this point. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's just that I'm listening to this, going, man, I don't know. Some of this sounds a little out there.
Well, let's continue. Hold on a second. Let's continue to listen to this. Okay, somebody's giving me feedback, and I'm telling you right now, Angel, it's you. something is being played too loud. Can you turn me down a little bit? Because I'm getting feedback, massive feedback. Okay. So here was my guess, and here's reality. The driver connects the hose to the wing and can pump kerosene or any other fuel at a rate of 634 gallons per minute, 2,400 liters per minute. This can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to refuel an aircraft in non-optimal conditions. So balls dead accurate. So I'm still getting feedback. All right. So this went ahead. Supposedly you saw this. Now, please understand this. And Angel, this is really important for you to answer that you couldn't answer for me earlier. Okay. You said it took off from the East Coast. You weren't sure where. It flew to Iceland and then it flew to the Black Sea. So you're talking about a 12.5 hour, 13 flight on a non-jet propulsion propeller-based craft. Is that correct, Leroy? As far as it's
the P8 is Poseidon. It's a converted, like I want to say it's like a converted.
Is it like an S3 Viking?
No, it's much bigger. It's the size of an airliner.
Oh, a P8?
P8 is what she's saying.
Oh, shit. Okay. Now I got it. Okay, so the Poseidon. So this is the big boy. I thought we were talking about a P3 Orion. Okay, so this is a Boeing P8 Poseidon. So this is a big boy. Now, does a P8 have, I don't know why you would need to refuel it over Iceland, by the way. But that's okay. That's whatever. So this is a sub hunter. Is that not correct? Is that correct? Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
So she can drop sonar buoys, she can drop torpedoes. She's a sub hunter. Okay. All right, go ahead.
And
Angel.
it was a Bart 2 that refueled him. That came out of Germany and met him in the Black Sea. They refueled around and around for about an hour and a half, and then they broke free from one another. The P8 then heads towards the pipeline at about 26,000 feet. Drops altitude.
Slow down. I have a question. So to go from the East Coast to the Black Sea in a standard jetliner, you're looking at about a 17-hour to 18-hour flight, all in. So how did you see this take place? You didn't watch this show for 18 hours, did you?
No.
Then how do you know?
Because Skyglass has backtracking.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's fine. So did you see the P8 on Skyglass, or did you just see the refueler? Were they both there?
They were both there. You could see the refueler coming out of Germany, meet up with the Poseidon.
Okay.
And they did this circle thingy, like a oval type circle thingy.
Racetrack.
It's a racetrack pattern during refueling. It's standard practice. Okay.
Yeah, that I saw. And at that time, the Poseidon, they were at around 25 to 26,000 feet.
That makes sense for turbulence reasons.
Then the P8 heads towards north, towards the pipeline.
See, this is getting more credibility. This is getting more credibility for me now, because some of the vernacular you're using in descriptions would be standard. I'm still trying to understand why. What?
You're getting 2 or 3 different people, and I'm hearing it too, that are saying that when you're talking, there's fuzz or crackling on the audio.
Something's going on with Angel's call. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to fix it. Okay, is that any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're getting some echo feedback. We'll fix it. And Olivia and I got to take all day tomorrow and fix this damn thing. Okay. So go ahead. So it was flying at 26 and then she descends.
Yeah.
P8 descends. Okay.
Drops altitude.
Hold on. Angel, hold on. Refueler goes back to Germany. P8 drops altitude and then does what?
Okay, it drops altitude like it's pinning the pipeline, and then it came back around and started to descend. by then the refueler had already was already back in Germany at the base, and the P8 then kind of went north a little as it was turning to line up for the bomb run. It dropped it at the pin site. And when it dropped it, you could totally see the rise of the altitude. By the way, when they dropped, they were about 10,000 feet, a little over 10,000 feet.
They dropped a torpedo. They dropped a torpedo from 10,000 feet.
It might have been lower, but I know they were at an altitude of 10,000 feet. Anyways, you could tell the rise in the aircraft, and then how it evened itself back down to where it was, or where it wanted to be, and it bugged out. At the same time, there was Army intelligence in the area, Army aircraft intelligence at the area. No Norwegian P8 was in the area. It was covert from the USA that went all the way back to USA with refueling in the sky. And this took place between 3 o'clock and about 7 o'clock is when they actually ended up leaving that area.
AM or
after
PM?
refueling and everything. AM.
Okay. So in the morning, okay. So I have, first of all, the 10,000 foot drop. At any time, did you see this thing between 100 and 500 feet at any time?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't see the video because it was on my phone. So I couldn't see the altitude.
But Angel, you would know.
I only know what he said the altitude was.
Angel, if you saw it supposedly create inertia from dropping a torpedo, which doesn't take place in a plane because the forward momentum is stronger than any weight distribution that you drop from. Just trust me and Leroy on this, that when you drop payload from a single solitary payload, you're not going to see weight distribution in that aircraft all of a sudden propel upwards. That's.
It didn't go it didn't go like extremely high. You can tell.
Right, but Angel, if you saw it go, even if it was 50 feet, you would know if it dropped down to 100 to 500 feet from 10,000. So if you can tell me one thing, you should be able to tell me the other. Is that fair?
Yeah, but like I said, I couldn't see the numbers because it was too small.
Right, then how did you know it went up 50 feet or 100 feet when it dropped its payload?
Because you could see the dip. He didn't tell us exactly how much it dropped, but you can see the dip. I just can't see the numbers.
Did you see a dip where it was losing altitude?
Or not a dip, the raise.
Okay, then if you saw a raise, then you would see a descend, right? You would see a decline too. So did you see?
Yes, they did that right after that to level out.
Okay, leveled out to a drastic level out from 10,000 feet all the way down to something that would be relative to 100 to 500 feet. Anything close? Did they go to 2,000 feet? Did you see a decline that was massive?
I don't remember.
Okay, so let me explain this. You would, because you're not dropping a torpedo from 10,000 feet. It's not, that thing would be obliterated because it's like hitting concrete. So you're going to drop it from 100 to 500 feet. It is going to have a descenting device on it, usually a small back chute that's going to allow it to go vertical. And at the last minute, that will pop off before, hold on. Yes, I can say that. Last minute, it'll pop off the back of the torpedo. And then honestly, it'll almost come into the water at a dive or a horizontal, like a 45-degree incline, which will create the most weight distribution. Now, if you didn't see that, they didn't drop a torpedo, number one. Number two, if it was a remote explosive device, like some people said, like a sonar buoy, you're not going to drop that from 10,000 feet either. And if you're going to go ahead and set off a charge remotely, if it's able to be set off during atmospheric pressure and overall altitude and everything else at 10,000 feet, you're going to be able to do it from a mile away or 2 miles away or 3 miles away or 20 miles away as well. So what I'm confused by is that is this a coincidence where they were running operations in the Black Sea at the time, and the U.S. military was in country at the time. Everyone knows they are. They had carrier groups there, and they were running Black Sea operations. Could it possibly for that op and have nothing to do with Nord Stream 2, in your opinion?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm asking.
I went ahead and did just 2 minutes worth of internet research. The site that I think is probably most describing of what Angel is talking about is actually on the International Business Times. And the headline actually reads that a U.S. Navy Poseidon surveillance aircraft monitored Nord Stream pipeline bombing blast report. And then part of that story says that at one point during its flight, cited on Flight Radar 24, that the aircraft switched off its transponder. Now, and there is also some corresponding data in here that talks about the KC-135 refueling aircraft.
Which I
So,
thought it was a KC-135 because that's usually what they are.
yeah. Now,
What is a BART 2?
Hold on.
What did you say?
A BART 2.
It could be its call sign.
Yeah.
I don't know. A BART. There is a BART 2 refueler, and essentially, it's KC-135. So it could be a call sign for it because there's nothing BART 2 that's specifically. So it could just be a call center. Now, the Navy P-8 Poseidon can drop wing torpedoes as well. Its maximum ceiling's 41,000 feet. Its cruising altitude is closer to 33,000 feet. I'm just looking up a little non-conf information here. And it can drop a winged GBU type bomb, which is actually called a Hawk. And it's a torpedo.
Yes.
It's a winged unit. Hold on a second. It attaches and it has a fuselage where the torpedo is in, and essentially has a propulsion device where it uses overall GBU weight with glide slope from the wings. And then when it reaches its target optimal altitude above the water, it will then escape out of this canister, kind of like a cellulose GBU bomb, and go through. And then obviously the torpedo will ping and acquire target based upon whatever its programming is, or whatever its sonar capabilities are, whatever it was meant to do. It's a Mark 54 lightweight anti-torpedo weapon, and it's the Hawk, the HAAWC, which stands for High Altitude Anti-Submarine Warfare Weapon Capability. It's not an independent system. It requires another targeting profile to execute it effectively. It does have exactly what I said in regards to the parachute in the back, which changes its overall glide slope to either vertical or horizontal to a 45-degree entry into the water, which is standard for most torps. It's a 500 pound. Holy fuck! It's a fucking Leroy. It's a 500-pound JDAM.
That's a big bomb.
That's a big bomb.
It's a lot of bang.
If that thing went up, there wouldn't be any pipeline left. I'm just letting you know. A 500-pound JDAM can level a building. That's the shit we were dropping in Fallujah. That's what we were dropping on ISIS and just flattening ISIS. It's not the Moab, but a JDAM 500-pound bomb. It's an incredibly powerful weapon. The problem I have with this story right now is it sounds very good, but the problem is that its egress point and its overall target acquisition is straight down in a situation that is from an air standpoint, but once it enters the water, it is a horizontal acquiring piece of weaponry. So it would follow the very low 25 feet submerged to maybe 50 feet submerged and enter at the whole level on a submarine, and can go down to 500 feet as well. But the problem that I'm having is, how do you acquire a pipeline that is 300 feet deep without active sonar or without targeting, unless there was a beacon of some sort already planted there. Now that's possible. There very well could have been a beacon that was planted there, but why wouldn't you just go ahead and do an undersea mine at that point? If you're going to have divers down there, they're going to plant a beacon, or
There's
you're
a
going to go
lot.
ahead.
There's a lot going on with this story that makes me very dubious. First of all, to Matt's point, when an aircraft flies over an area, its transponder is pinging the whole time, and granted, they can turn it off, but that doesn't mean that it's still not being tracked. And the fact of the matter is that they know roughly when, the pipeline exploded. They know roughly when it was damaged. So for anything U.S. marked to be in the area at the time would already be suspect. If I was going to do this, and granted, I'm not a weaponeer, right? But if I was going to do this, it wouldn't be with an aircraft.
No.
If the United States was to do this, the way I would have probably planned it would have been with some sort of tactical boat, right? That could turn all that off, remain pretty stealthy. You're not pinging anything off in the air. There's no radar, airborne radar hitting you at that point. That would be the more likely scenario. This just seems like there's too many breadcrumbs that can be left for others to follow.
Exactly. Now, I will give credit to the speculative process of this, because we just walked through it, and what you said sounds feasible until you get to the weapon system that was used, that was designed for subs, that was a big boomer killer. I mean, this thing would essentially it's not that most torpedoes, their design is to punch a hole and to destroy the integrity of the vehicle, so the water pressure kills everyone in the sub. That's what most torpedoes do, right? They don't blow up the whole sub. They capsize it by changing the air pressure and the vacuum and turning it into a aluminum can. Now, a JDAM would be designed to liquefy and destroy any evidence of the said sub, because a 500-pound JDAM would not only pierce the hull of that submarine, but obliterate it to nothing. Now, there would be some remnants, but most of it would be gone. Now, these boomers are roughly the size of World War II aircraft carriers, a little bit smaller than that. They're very large. It's a lot of steel, a lot of displacement. The problem I have is that there's easier ways to do this without leaving a trail. And that's what I told you when we first talked tonight. I said, why would they go ahead and do the most obvious way, leave thumbprints all over this fucking thing, and nobody's crying foul? Nobody's crying foul. Go ahead.
They came in a, it was mask. The call sign was just asterisks. The hex code was not in database, and it had a rolling hex code.
You're talking about the 6-digit identifier on the tasking
on
software
the plane
that tracks
itself.
this? On the plane itself. Okay.
Yes, aircraft. Sorry.
Well, that's got to be in reference to the transponder, right?
That's the transponder, but that's not necessarily shocking to me, especially if you're running a task force and you're running an operation and doing drills. You're going to run it like a real-time situation, and you're going to use the technology needed to mask and to cloak your presence in certain wartime situations. I mean, this is a war game. I mean, they were there doing war drills. So that doesn't shock me yet, but go ahead.
Well, they were there at the time, the exact time of the explosion. You know, they were there then. And then why, when Sweden investigated, why wouldn't they give the information to Russia?
Well, why wouldn't Sweden give what information to Russia?
The information of the investigation of what happened to the pipeline.
I'm not sure what you're asking me. Sorry, maybe I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going back to certain reasons that lead people to believe, after seeing what we saw, that the U.S. actually did it.
Well, once again, I haven't heard a viable reason why my comments of having a drill and a wartime war game situation in the Black Sea during that time would not fill the gap in your thought process that, okay, yes, it could be a cover story, but there's other opportune times to do this. Why? Okay, so here's the question, and Leroy's thinking the same thing, because our job is not to go ahead and disprove everything you're saying. It's to ask a question that ultimately disproves your theory. And here's the question: why would the U.S. do something so blatant that could be tracked by civilians, and that's obvious? And it's just laying the blame at the U.S. door. Why would the U.S. do that and be clever enough to get away with it, and have plenty of ways to get away with it and not utilize that technology? Can you tell me, was that discussed in this conversation?
Well, I think partly because Biden said that he would.
Yeah, but we make threats
but he
all the
wouldn't
time.
make it obvious.
Right. Donald Trump said he was going to go ahead and nuke North Korea at one point. Did he? So go ahead, Leroy.
If I may, stop flipping the pages for a second. If I may, what happens is, right, when if we were to make a threat like that, which we did, right, the one thing that you would not do, because it's considered an act of war, is to destroy another country's utility system. This is part of that, right? This is a pipeline that runs from Russia to Germany, basically.
Germany.
That basically says, look, here's your gas. We're going to sell you this gas. So by us destroying that is utility. I get that President Biden made the threat, and I'm not saying that we didn't. What I am saying is that he wouldn't make the steps in doing such, in doing the act. He wouldn't make it so easy to find or obvious. Because it is an act of war, and if Russia ever did, and they're very smart over there, they're very smart. If they ever did figure out, look, here's the United States. Here, this P8 was in the area. They turned off the transponder. They were in the area at the exact same time. If you found that, then I guarantee Russia has already found out. And here's the problem. If they knew already, then it would have already been leaked. Russia would have already been pointing the fingers, basically saying, look, we know it was you. We know it was you. You destroyed our utility. It's an act of war. Game on.
That's right. And not
That
only is
hasn't
it an
happened.
act, and I want you to look at the photo. Here's a photo of what the pipeline looks like. And I've got about 100 of these. And I've tried to explain this, that Russia would be on the world stage. It would be on state media. It would be all over the place as Russian propaganda. And we would be hearing, Leroy would be hearing it. The flash traffic would be going insane with Russian propaganda. And he would be talking about these things every day. He can't necessarily say yay or nay to that, but I've been in these situations and I know what we would all know about. The intel community would all hear about this. I'm telling you right now, if that weapon system that he's predicting used this, a 500-pound JDAM style weapon, this pipeline right here, this damage that you're seeing, there wouldn't be anything left. And not only would there be displacement, but you're talking about the size of that would not have taken out 100 yards or 50 yards or whatever. That is a vacuum tube. That tube is under pressure. It is deep enough where it is constantly under pressure. It would have no form of itself, and it would be flattened like a pancake at 350 feet, especially with that explosion. If you look at the debris field and you look at the remnants, it looks like an explosion from inside. Now, some people, especially conspiracy theorists, are saying there's people that can set charges to make it look like it was blown from the inside. That's bullshit. Okay? You're not going to get that precision when water and water pressure and weight distribution and structural integrity, there's no way. This looks like a pig was sent through this and was rigged to explode. I've said that 1,000 times based upon what I've seen, because you're not going to use anything other than a remote mine or a drone to do this type of damage, because that's all it would take.
Right.
You don't send a signature weapon. And when I say signature weapon, is that when you use certain munitions, the residue that it leaves, the components that are made, identifies which country it came from. I'm sure you understand that. Even as simply as using, okay, so you're leaving a footprint of and a signature from the United States saying we did this. And there's nothing here that shows me that an exclusive weapon system that we possess that other countries don't was used. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
So,
but I would like you to watch the first video that I sent you.
I watched 3 minutes and I couldn't watch anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because I can't stand people that do a briefing like this. So I have a plane, and I think that this is what happened. And I'm almost sure. I don't have any evidence, but I'm pretty sure that this is what happened. I could only hear that so many times before I said that this is a bunch of guesswork, and I can't stand guesswork. I mean, I could sit here and say all day long that my grandmother is my grandfather if she had balls, but that doesn't mean it's the truth. I'm going to listen to it, Angel, because I respect you. But I would rather have Leroy and I go on his show and ask him questions. And I think that conversation wouldn't go very well, because you've done a great job.
I would like to see that too.
I'm very proud of you. You've done an amazing job. You briefed very well. You had the answers to the questions. You were very specific. You didn't. I mean, you would have made a pretty decent briefer or an intelligence specialist at one point, because you weren't doing a bunch of pontification. You weren't making stories up. You answered my questions to the point. And when you were going to speculate, you let us know. So I'm very happy with what you did. And I don't agree with the story in any way, shape, or form, but I do appreciate how specific you were.
Yeah.
Mike Blankman says, I've watched the guy before. He's completely full of shit. And that is a military naval guy just like us. And I don't want to, I've heard of Monkey Works, and Angel, look at me real quick. If I'm not mistaken, he's a Qer, isn't he?
No, actually, I have heard him talk shit about cures.
Okay. Because I know there was a name of a guy named Monkey Works who was a Qer, and he was pretty heavy.
He was accused of being a Qer, but he wasn't.
Well, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go watch his stuff, and then I'm going to go ahead and research. And then if you want to reach out to him and say, you got 2 naval intelligence specialists with, a couple decades of experience under their belt, and you've got an operator / corpsman / who worked for Spec Ops, ready to go and talk to you anytime you want. And I think, I'll even see if Eli Crane's available, and we'll do this right. But to me, the best way, the last thing I'm going to say about this, and I really appreciate it because I thought it added a lot of value to the show, is when something is laid out so neatly and perfectly and every question is answered, it's not true. It's not true. And I'm good at what I do, and I would have a hard time drawing this conclusion and be able to prove it with some of the best technology on the planet. I think Leroy would agree with me. There would be too many holes in this yeah. Last thing, I want you to also understand, in the Black Sea, you've got England, Germany, you've got, let's go through all the countries that are watching the Black Sea with their own intelligence apparatus, because honestly, it is where you would see a naval strike if Russia was to go into Europe. None of them picked it up. That means they were all in on it, which means their secretaries were in on it, their leaders were in on it, their chief of staffs were in on it, their intelligence agencies were in on it. Poland would have known. You have probably 12 countries that would have known about this. And Vladimir Putin would not sit on this. He would scream from the rooftops if he had any indications the United States was involved in this.
Absolutely.
That's what
because
I thought.
That would be his justification to take the next step in turning his sights towards NATO countries. That would be justification enough. That could be turned politically into, look, Now they are messing with our utilities. They are messing with our income, right? It's Russia's like number one export is fuel and energy. And so that would be turned political, and that would transpire into a war.
World War III.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I also somebody just said something, and it's interesting. And this says, I love this shit. So I can do this all day. I know Leroy wants to go, but I don't. Dante Perez says, real gun. It's actually a rail gun. Is a magnetic, and I think you know this, and you sound like you know what you're talking about. At least that's my first indication that you're maybe ex-military.
I bet his phone auto-corrected that. Is what that
Yeah,
looks like.
a rail gun is a magnetic gun and uses the kinetic power, no explosives. Yeah, but in between the two rails, the electric current can transfer through seawater, and that's going to short circuit the rail gun itself, and it's not going to be able to operate.
I thought so too.
Second, with a rail gun, you need to understand something is that you can take a 50 cal, and I could be under 2 feet of water, and you can't hit me with a 50 caliber. You don't understand. People think when it's the movies, when you shoot in water, that the bullet goes all the way down and through. It's complete bullshit. You can unload an AK-47 only 2 feet under the water. Every single one of those bullets are going to fragment and disperse and not hit me in any way, shape, or form, because the kinetic energy of the bullet is not transferred at one point when it breaks service. It's for every single movement it loses its potential energy. Every single distance that it goes, whether it be a fraction of an inch, or a centimeter, it's losing its energy and its profile, and it will dissipate. So if anyone's like, someone's firing at you, go underwater, and your chances of being hit are absolutely zero. Even if they're using a 30mm cannon, you're going to be safe at 10 feet. So just understand, I've seen 50 cals shot into pools before. I've seen them shot during testing in ballistic gel. No. No. So a rail gun is not going to be the same thing.
Yeah, the other part of that is, and that's just a 50 cal. When you're talking about a rail gun, I think the idea is that the projectile will be traveling so fast, and it's so much larger of a round, right? That an argument, a theoretical argument, could be had that basically says, oh, it would penetrate the water and then go right through the pipeline. No, unfortunately, it wouldn't work that way. At that speed, exactly what Matt is talking about, which is that the round itself, or in this case, the projectile, which are normally made of aluminum, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. They're hydrofoil. They're hydrofoil, if I'm not mistaken.
It would fragment into about a bajillion different pieces within the first, to Matt's point.
The armatures wouldn't work, right? So that the thing about the railgun is the ultimate, the centrifugal force.
Well, even if you were firing it above, out of water, and
okay, forget this. We're not doing this. We're not. No, listen, guys. Why would you fucking use a railgun? Why would you use a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment when you could use 10 M80s wrapped up in a bundle and do this job? Okay, this is literally some manure, some ammonia, and some orange juice and a triggering system, and you could do this. This is not difficult. The hardest part about it is getting 350 feet down in order to place these charges. That's the hard part, and a lot of people don't have the technology to do that. The United States does. You're not going to use a $20 million weapon system or dispersing a weapon platform that costs $20 million to use when you could use an $800 pound of Semtex or a landmine. So we need to step back and realize that I know everyone wants to pin this on the U.S. because Joe Biden is office, but I promise you this, if Donald Trump was in office, everyone would be pinning this on somebody else. They would not be pinning it on Donald Trump. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. Okay. Angel, you got anything else for me?
Yeah, the Gateway Pundit actually gave credit to Monkeyworks and Skyglass on February 8th of this year. Yeah. A Johansson guy or Johnson guy gave credit. It's Skyhurst's report on the attack of the pipeline. I don't trust the Gateway Pundit.
I don't either.
100%. I don't trust any news media. 100%.
No, and I like the Gateway Pundit for their election coverage and everything else. But if you're going to start getting into military technology and strategics and tactics, honestly, that's like my shooting club getting an accommodation from the Save the Whale Club. Who fucking cares? No offense. I mean, what does the Gateway Pundit know? I'm sorry. I just okay. But is there anything else that really matters? How about that?
I'm a woman.
You sure are. You sure are, and I'm proud of you.
Not cis, not whatever. I'm a woman.
And I'm a man. And Angel, I love that you're here, and I appreciate you. I appreciate that you're on.
We appreciate your cervix.
We appreciate your cervix. Thank you for your cervix.
I hear you, Olivia.
She's falling asleep over here. She's just like, oh, fuck, can you guys please stop talking about the military?
Thanks for calling, Angel.
No, she's lying. She hates it. She's so pissed.
Thank you.
She's like, I can't take this
I researched a lot on that. By the way,
great. Listen,
you're braver than I am because you came on camera. I don't come
Here's
on
the other thing. Angel said she reached out. She's like, hey, can I start researching for you? Based upon what you just did, I really appreciate it. And if I have something I need some research on, I'll more listen. I will absolutely. How are you feeling, by the way? How is your health? I know you've been going through a lot. How are you doing real quick? Give me a quick 15-20 second recap, and then we're going to cut loose.
I'm doing way better than I was. I think it was Sunday night. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. I don't know. I had that short-term memory from my aneurysm. But yeah, it was a pretty bad one, and I hurt for a while, and my brain was it's still a little scrambled. But
get some rest.
I think it was Monday night.
I need you to pop smoke on this stuff and just step away from a little bit. This shit can all make us loony. I need to do that sometimes. Get away from this. Get some sleep. Get some good rest. Turn off your freaking TV and your phone for at least an hour before bed so the blue light doesn't get you, and just get some sleep, right? Maybe have a shot of whiskey, a little warm toddy, and rest your cervix.
I got some Kahlua.
All right. Listen, kid, I gotta go. I gotta pop smoke. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Angel.
Bye. All right, you have a good one, guys.
Angel.
Love you all.
Got it. See you, kiddo. She's amazing. She's been around forever, and I gotta listen. I told her she could have the time, and I'll be honest with you. I'm very impressed with the amount of research she did, and I at least got to give her props, and I'll give her that much. It was good. Okay, Leroy, last minute. It's up to you, buddy. What do you got?
I don't have anything except that it's still being reported that when we talk, even now, after Angel is gone, apparently there's static on the line.
Test 1 2. Hold on. Test 1 2. I don't know why we would be getting static.
I'm hearing it too.
I'm not, but of course I'm right here.
So listen, I think we just need to pop smoke, Charlie Mike, and call it good, because we need I don't know what happened. We need a complete overhaul, and find out why our phones aren't working or anything. Static when Matt talks.
Yeah.
What about when I talk?
Same.
Okay, that's it. We're just going to call it good. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll get everything fixed. And God bless. Thanks for doing that. Leroy, as always, we love having you. Please stop by the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We will go out like we always do, and we'll get all this fixed, and we will be better next time. Sorry for the screw-ups.
Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.
All right,
good
guys.
Night, make sure to
love
like,
you.
share, and subscribe. We do love you. You guys are good. Get out of here, buddy. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets. We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important. For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call